This movie is an absolute classic for all the right reasons. And if you haven't seen it or you haven't seen it in a long time, do yourself a favor and go check it out. What's up, everybody? So this is my old school review of Dangerous Minds, which as I'm recording this video, is 11 August 2025. This movie came out exactly 30 years to the day ago at 11 August 1995. I was a freshman in high school. I just started high school and everybody was buzzing about this movie. Eventually, when I saw it, I think I just intuitively understood what made it different. It wasn't until I watched it again as an adult that I think I picked out what it is about this particular movie that it makes it different from all the inspirational teacher movies that are out there. The premise is pretty similar to all of them. Michelle Pfeiffer is a retired Marine who decides to become a public school teacher. They give her basically the dregs of the school, all the ones that every other teacher has given up hope on. They go through teachers constantly because they're just so terrible that they quit, which is what Michelle Pfeiffer almost does after her first day. But she perseveres and wins them over, and the way in which she empowers them, I think, is what makes this movie unique from all the others, as I mentioned. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some really great, almost borderline cheesy ones that exist, but I still enjoy. I'm talking movies like Freedom Writers, which is kind of like that, a little slightly cheesy movie, but still does well. Stand and Deliver, Summer School, which is one of my all-time favorites. But I think that, and I'll talk about Summer School on a different day, but with Dangerous Minds, one of the things that really, really makes it in its own category almost is that the way she fights against everybody. So she's pushing back against the resistance that the students are giving her, wins them over. Then, because of the way that she wins them over, garners some resistance from administration and all the other teachers that are kind of jealous that she's able to do what they weren't able to do. She has to push back against that as well. So there's these different perspectives that are always kind of on the attack and how she weathers those storms. But with regard to how she is as a teacher, she's able to win them over. Like, one, she does a couple of things. One, she forgoes the standard curriculum. And she's like, look, I can't get to these kids by doing what has always been done, so I got to do something different. And she uses poetry as a way to really engage with them and connect with them. And it kind of works. You know, they kind of get into it. There's a little bit of that connection with hip hop music that it also plays a little bit of a role in it. So it's kind of like a little bit of an in. But as it goes along, you see that what she's really doing is activating their own critical thinking skills, which also helps them to think for themselves and not have somebody else think for them, tell them who they are and what they're supposed to be or what they're supposed to do. And, you know, she goes about the connection in different ways. I mean, even in one particular moment where she goes to the house of one of the students just to tell the mother, like, how well they're doing, which is unheard of. You know, like, maybe they've had a nice teacher here and there that kind of gives them a pat on the back, a small bit of encouragement, but none of them have really gone that extra mile to show, you know, like really how they're doing. And so that, you know, plays a role, you know, in how she breaks through the barrier. But there's a really pivotal scene that I think is what marks this movie as different from others. Without giving away any spoilers, something particular happens after she has kind of built up a good degree of rapport with these students, and she's getting some resistance. Nobody wants to participate, and finally she just says, okay, so you guys got a problem? Let's talk. they talk it out, and one of the things that, and then she finds a way to bring it back to the poem that they're talking about. And in the end, going through the issues of the day and what their problem is, they kind of air out their differences. But one of the things that she says that I think is a hallmark and like the pivotal moment is where she said, there are no victims in this classroom. And I think so many of them, for good reason, they've just been raised their entire lives, and everyone is just like pointing the finger, putting down on them, saying that it's somebody else's fault here or there. And she was the only one that was able to say, look, you have a choice. It might not be the choice that you like, but it is one that you have the power to make. And I think that is the one linchpin. It's the one aspect, one element of this particular quote unquote inspirational teacher movie that separates it from the rest. Where she really is just trying to hammer home how they are all individuals, and regardless of their circumstances, which are terrible, they still have a decision to make. They still have a choice in how they move forward. And I think as a teacher myself, that is probably the most important thing any teacher, any lesson that a teacher can give their student. And of course, let's not forget Coolio's iconic song, Gangsta's Paradise, that not only lit the world up in 1995, but to this day, you'll still hear that on countless YouTube shorts, TikTok videos, Instagram reels. You'll hear it in the background. It's one of those things that will never die. Anyways, those are my thoughts. What about you guys? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Smash that like button, give me a follow, and I'll see you guys next time.